and I, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Oh, look at me. I'm retarded. I'm a globe.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, coming to you 250 miles above your imagination from the International IT Nightmare Station. I'm here with my good friend and NPC, Something Wong. Not much of a conversationalist. We'll get into some NPCs here in a little while. I'm sure many of you have engaged some yourself. They seem to be everywhere. Oh my God, they're everywhere. This country is great. Greg says it brought eBay back from the brink of despair. What? I don't care if you say that is cheesy. Okay. Cool beans. So what do we got? We got a lot of people up in here. Roger Ledwell, some looks happy. I'm always happy. Thou shalt not kill my vibe. Oh, that's where we're at. Greetings from Iowa, way over on the western half of this, what I used to think was a very, very large continent. Good to have you with us tonight. Oh, let's see. Well, did I get through here? Justin Johnson is here with us tonight. Angela Baby Carson, what's up, girl? We got Akinator is here with us. Greg Brayton, of course, smoking in G sharp. Let's see. Keelan Prudhomme. Rob, just Rob. Does he need a last name? It's Rob. There he is. Good to have you, Rob. Castle in the Pasture, making stupid people famous. Oh, let's see. Crunchy B, haven't seen you in a little while, my friend. How you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Stacy Jones is here as well. Shawnee B. What do we got? Jonathan Pernice is with us. Let's go. He says, hey, we're going. We're slaves to that little dial. We have to wait till the prescribed time. You know the drill, man. One of these times I'm going to fuck you all up. I'm going to set it for 9:30 and then I'm just going to go live like at 9 and see what happens. I'm going to test out those notifications, man. See what's going on with that. I'm all about that, man. Oh, man. Talk about finding some troll farms here recently. And wow, are they ever getting fucking desperate? Reading my comments, my God, I'm sorry. There's people out there that should just be, we should take up a GoFundMe to have them sterilized. I'm serious. Some of the dumbest fucking people I've ever had the pleasure or displeasure of conversing with. It just blows my mind. And I was thinking about this level of programming, you know, even women, mostly women at home in the 60s and early 70s, were subject to these shows like they called them soap operas. I don't even know if they still have them going on anymore. I haven't had network TV and shit for years, but they had one called As the World Turns, and it always showing a globe spinning and shit. And it's like every day they're all sitting there and there's that and going into their fucking heads. Great shit, man. I gotta tell you. Let's see. A Behemoth is here with us. Let's see. Tony Coriolis. Day Trooper. God, see, this list is getting way too big for me to cover. I have to do just a show to cover all the people that are in my chat and shit. Well, that would be cool. Found a really cool little thing of a NPC today. This is kind of interesting. Bill Esquire put this up on Twitter. His quote to it was, "Who would have thought all we ever needed was the shirt?" And this is just classic. You're going to love it. Let me show this to you. We all know one of these. We all know one of these.
I mean, what?
Okay, cut before we ever saw him actually take a bite. How was he doing that? How was he doing that? That's interesting. My theory, from a Glober standpoint, being as that I'm up in space, is that that man was so fat that he had his own gravity, and the apple was in the zone where it could be in a geosynchronous position with him. Yeah, that's exactly what was going on. It was gravity, gut gravity from the gut. Good job, guy. We love it. All he needed was a shirt, though. Let's see. Why is that all of a sudden one of the things? What was this? Is there a treat the month that we get to feel special too, or is that just every day? So this is pretty good. You know how we got Pride Month and we got all these other prompts. And as I said, did I or did I not? Yes, I did. I pinned the link to join up in the description. That's pretty cool. And so I found if y'all ain't following Robot Polisher on here and on Twitter and everywhere else that he is, y'all need to get your heads out of your ass and go follow Robot Polisher. He puts out videos continuously and they're just fucking gold all the time. He put this one out about 5 hours ago or more, or so, and it's called "Why You So Mad, Bro." So this is pretty good. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a link in here so that if some of you are not subscribed to Robot Polisher or know about him, which I don't know how that could be, definitely go over there, give it a subscribe, share this, because he's usually got really good content. So let me bring this up real quick. And we're just kind of all over the place tonight. So, like I said, you got something, questions, whatever the case, something you want to talk about regarding the topics we discuss here, by all means, come on up and do it. You know what I'm saying? I got to pride ourselves here. We have very few trolls roll around here. And when they do show up, they don't last long, I notice, because man, you guys just are fucking animals to them. I love it. Keep it up. Keep it up. Anyway, this is pretty good. It was entitled "Why You So Mad, Bro?" And of course, this is obviously a clip from the hit movie Pulp Fiction. But anyway, let's let this go. I'm behind on my pressure tests, so while you're enjoying this, I'm going to do that. And of course, we'll stop it from time to time to make commentary, perhaps. So hang in there.
I got a threshold, Jules. I got a threshold for the abuse that I will take. Now, right now, I'm a fucking race car, right? And you got me in a red. And I'm just saying that it's fucking dangerous to have a race car in a fucking red. That's all. I could blow.
Do you know what they think about us? Do you know what we look like to them? What do you think they think of you? These people out here are laughing their head off at you, and all of a sudden it's the rage, and everybody's jumping on board to the flat earth.
Is it that flat earth is the single thing that triggers people the most?
Imagine being so programmed that you have strong emotions around a subject and you don't even know why.
Oh, you ready to blow? Yeah, I'm ready to blow.
You're going to interrupt me again because you're getting really emotional. So
I'm not getting really emotional.
I'm not interested.
You, God damn, you such a bastard.
You know that rounding is neutral, right?
Dude, the amount of wizardry that you do to not answer questions is exactly, hey, I'm talking, buddy. Hey, I'm talking. No need to rage and cry. I'm talking. Let me get my point out.
The idea of the flat earth crowd that's driving a wedge between God's people is sowing discord among the brethren.
I'm done being nice about this.
the earth is not flat. 1,000%. The earth is not flat.
All right, listen up, jackass.
Keep your stupid mouth shut.
You pathetic, worthless, idiot, lying sack of garbage.
I'm an angry person. I struggle to control my temper, my anxiety, my stress levels. Very much so. Very much.
Sorry, I was muted. That right there is very telling. Who comes out and says some shit like that? Right? I mean, what a way to just say, hi, I'm a fucking psychopath. I'm a fucking psychopath that can't control my base instincts and emotions. Wow.
Like Bruce Banner, I am always angry.
Broke me. You broke me.
Actually, as soon as I brought up that you can't.
I don't care if it's a stupid question. I don't care if it's a stupid question. I'm not worried about non sequiturs.
Is my therapy. It makes me feel good. Oh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That felt good.
People think that guy is cool. They think he's smart. Now, I don't think that there's actually as many people that like him as what we think. Because as we'll get into some of these NPCs, yeah, definitely to Akinator, that motherfucker is weird as shit. You look up weird in the dictionary and his picture's right next to it, man. Wow. This guy is a fucking fruitcake. And McToon, holy shit. So I was told the other day, let's go back and take a look at McToon flipping his shit. Right here. Okay. This guy's supposedly a Christian that met Will Duffy at his church, right? He's supposedly a Christian. I've had people say that he's a Christian. Is this Christian behavior? Listen to this.
You pathetic, worthless, idiot, lying sack of garbage.
I'm an angry person. I struggle to control my temper, my anxiety, my stress levels. Very much so. Very much like Bruce Banner, I am always angry.
Broke me. You broke me.
Actually, as soon as I brought up that you can't.
I don't care if it's a stupid question. I don't care if it's a
Good to see you, Benny boy. What's he say? Craig, Dan McKeegan, and Mr. Sensible honestly make me ashamed to call myself British. Yeah, I've heard you say that before, man. Listen, it's just like I don't want PhD Tony representing. I don't want McToon representing Americans. I mean, I've already resigned myself to the idea that there's a large majority of my countrymen that are nothing more than pasty, fat-ass, ignoramus, unthinking NPCs, for real. Just walk along, chewing their cud, not a thought going through their head. Flat line on the fucking EEG, man. Flat line on the EEG. The only time there's even a remote spike on their thought pattern is if they get hungry or have to shit or want to fuck something. That's it. That's it. That's all they got.
Stupid question. I'm not worried about non sequiturs.
Is my therapy. It makes me feel good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That felt good. That felt fucking good.
You absolute fucking monster. Worthless piece of garbage.
And son does not.
Fucking monster. That's a Christian. This is the guy the pastor glommed up with, right? Yeah. Good.
Change size throughout the day. Absolutely 100% does not change size throughout the day. You cannot say otherwise.
Because it's refuting your claim? Oh, because that's talking about a rail gun, you stupid fuck.
What's the variables? What was the height of the transmitter? What was the weather conditions? What was allocated? What math was done to be able to do that?
But chill. I know this is a little bit like, abrasive for you or something, but I'm just saying,
I'm just trying to figure out what you're trying to do.
All right, I got it. Over the course of a spherical Earth, the plane changes so slowly, and that's why a spirit level won't sit up there on your fucking lap when you're flying around in an airplane, you dumbass.
Adams, whoa, Jeff, I just said thank you. Why you getting so emotional, my guy?
They were wrong. They were wrong.
Why?
It's simple.
Peter, calm down.
Hold on, calm down, Craig. Before you rage, you're gonna get clipped. You're gonna get clipped.
Told him when you first opened this mic, I said, don't get emotional. It just keeps getting emotional.
Am I getting emotional? What part of me's getting emotional? What?
Turn his mic off. Get out.
Wow.
You're a Bible denier. You're a Bible denier. It has become the most vitriolic, divisive amount of bogusry.
Now that dude right there is a straight up motherfucking demon, y'all. That dude is a straight up fucking demon. He's of the likes of like Kenneth Copeland and the rest of them sons of bitches. They out there, they ain't no more a man of God, not the creator God. I can tell you that. Because let's remember, folks, God's a title, not a name. Right, Barbara? Ain't that right, Barbara? Yes, she knows it. Hints in her name. Okay, so here's what's up there. That dude, you got to watch it. You got to watch it. This is definitely the wolf dwelling with the fucking lamb. Absolutely. So you got to watch out. Just because some motherfucker calls himself a priest or a reverend or a minister don't mean a shit. Who's the ultimate deceiver? Who is the father of deception? Who is the most beguiling? And what better way to beguile people than to masquerade yourself as a religion or as God? Think, people, think.
Are the flat earthers making you angry, my friend? No, never. It seems like they are to me. Just us. Based on what?
So
Pathetic.
my socials are I'm just like, you can't give them your socials and get out of my house.
We respected God.
Yeah, that dude, supposedly a Christian Mason, that dude, the Soy Lodge, he can't hang. He can't hang. He lost his shit. He was so upset when he got done talking to Whitsitt. Whitsitt never was insulting, nothing. He was so fucking pissed off and enraged that the other guy on his show had to grab a hold of his arm, and he was like, "Ugh, I just want to hit somebody." Like some little child that didn't get their way. I mean, they have a very, very, very adolescent mindset about them, man. They really do.
I would highly suggest that people keep their mouth shut, get in their car, and go where they need to be.
Don't ever come back.
I believe the earth is flat. Who cares? Find the edge and walk off. Some stupidity.
That's a Christian right there. That's a minister saying that if you think that the world is flat, like the fucking Bible pretty much dictates, then he wants you to have a perilous event in your life. He wants you to go to an edge that he thinks there is and fall off into an abyss because you don't agree with him. This guy's a Christian, y'all. That's a Christian. Keep that in mind. Displaying such Christian values, I might add.
Flat Earth, find the edge and walk off.
These flat earthers are doing the work of Satan, and literally people will go to hell because of this kind of deception. People look like retards. You're stupid. Honestly, you need to keep your mouth shut.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
Note why every globist person will come up here without a really good argument and have any peace and kindness. I mean, it's a joke watching it anymore. Once in a while, you might have somebody that might have a little bit of emotional intelligence, but notice what you're doing to these people. You're bringing out the ugly. You're ripping off the mask because that cognitive dissonance is getting shaken up. And I say, let's keep pushing it.
Why do people get mad at people? They just describe the earth the way the oldest history book describes it.
Yeah, bro. And that's one of the first things I noticed was the vitriol anger that comes out from these folks, man. It's not like, sorry, man, I just can't buy it. You know, good luck. No. It's very important for them to convince you of their lie. It's very important to them to stop you from opening someone's mind to even the prospect or the idea of it. This is why you go and look and you'll see some asswipe has gone through. He got so triggered, he'll go through every one of your Facebook posts and put a laughy emoji on it. Even on the one, well, today we lost grandma. Oh, because they're just triggered, not a fucking control. They're sick in the fucking head. Every single one of them. And they all seem to have some kind of a mental disorder about them. Every last one of them. Now, I'm not talking about the average guy that thinks the earth's a globe because he was told that and he's never really had time to think of it, blah, 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 blah. I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about these shitheels, right? Like McToon and Fight the Fat Ass and Cyman Dan, the rest of these fucking guys, man. Where they even come from? Where'd they even fucking come from? How come there's no anti-concave earth channels? How come there's no anti-hollow earth channels? Anybody ever wonder why that is? How come they never put a Wikipedia sticker or a fact check on something saying, oh, I don't know about the hollow earth or about concave earth? Never anything about that on there. Not at all. Why not even put one on a post that it's not contradicting? Put a fact check sticker or a Wikipedia article expanding on the knowledge that's being presented in the fucking meme. Like, for instance, you're wanting to push Saturn. Somebody puts up a picture of Saturn. Put a little sticker down there from Wikipedia explaining about what all Saturn is. Because after all, YouTube and Facebook and all the rest of you, it's so fucking important to you to make sure that people get the information, right? I just had one a little while ago talking about the patent for the, coming out in 2015, right? Man, it wasn't up 2 minutes and they put a sticker over it. I knew they would and blurred it. And so I thanked them. I said, thank you, Facebook, for placing this over my post. This will ensure that people will look at it. Really a self-defeating bunch of retards. NPCs. No capability of actual thought. No problem-solving abilities. You see? This is what you got. It's like in that Lego movie, which I think is interesting. The whole premise of the Lego movie is to show people and this Lego character that you don't have to do everything by directions. You can just create your own shit out of Legos, right? But simultaneously, the company of Lego is putting out all these kits that you have to follow the directions or it's just garbage. And there is no imagination to it. So they're doing exactly what the movies seem to be against. Does that make any sense to anybody out there? I hope so. I really do. Anyway, what? I'm on a show, wife. God, stop messaging me. Okay. Same time zone down in Florida, right? Now let me look at something on my page real quick, just to make sure that there wasn't something else I wanted to share. Oh yeah, I did think that this was pretty cool. I wanted to kind of go this over. It's a little piece of history, and you know how we are about history in the first place. But somebody put this up about Alexander the Great, and I thought this was really good. And people that have read it are like, "Wow, yeah, that's pretty tight, man." And so what it says here is the last 3 wishes of Alexander the Great. When Alexander the Great, after conquering kingdoms, returning to his country, he fell ill that led him to his deathbed. He gathered his generals and told them, "I will depart from this world soon. I have 3 wishes. Please carry them out without fail." The king asked his general to abide. Right. God damn it. To abide to these last wishes. Number 1, the Greek king of Macedonia said, My physicians alone must only carry my coffin. I desire that when the coffin is being carried to the grave, the path leading to the graveyard be filled with the wealth that I collected. My 3rd and last wish is that both my hands be kept hanging out of my coffin. The generals agreed to abide by their king's last wishes and asked him the reason for doing so. Alexander said, "I want the world to know the 3 lessons I have just learned." The king interrupted his wishes and continued, "I want my physicians to carry my coffin because people should realize that no doctor on this earth can really cure anybody. They are helpless in front of death." Describing his 2nd wish, the king said, "I spent all of my life earning riches, but cannot take anything with me. Let people know that wealth is nothing but dust. Thirdly, I wish people to know that I came empty-handed into this world, and I will go empty-handed." What do you think of that? Pretty cool. Look, here's Denmark Andy. How are you,
Hello.
Denmark Andy?
Good, thank you. God bless you.
Good to see you tonight. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm all right. I'm all right. You're in a space station or something.
Yeah, I am on the space station. I work for NASA.
You do, for real?
I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Good
Can't
shit,
you
good
tell? How
shit.
else would I get up?
You know Andreas Mogensen?
Oh yeah. I mean,
He's from
we
Denmark.
hang out and
One
stuff
of
all the
the
time. Play hacky sack. He was chasing me around in a gorilla suit the other day. It was funny as hell.
I don't know, but like, are you for real or what?
What's that?
Are you for real or what?
Well, of course I'm for real. How do
Can
you
you
think
show
I got
me
up
like
here?
some real evidence? Like, I see this is a green screen.
Well, there's my friend back here. That's Something Wong. He's up here with me, proving the internationality of the
It's
International
cool.
Space
No,
Station.
it's cool. Listen, I'm only here for supporting, saying hello. It's cool, bro.
Right?
So, what do you know about the space? I don't know.
What do I know about space?
I don't know.
Define
Have you
space. What do you mean by space?
Have you any like thoughts about it that you think that I never thought about? Like,
Any thoughts about it? What do you mean by thoughts about it?
you know, like the sun is not warm, or the universe is not in infinity. Like, I don't know, like what do you like thoughts about?
Well, I mean, for
if you're
instance,
into like
what is the sun? What is the
What
sun?
is the sun?
Yeah.
It's a star. I
It
got
is.
told a lot.
How come it
Yeah.
looks? How come it doesn't look like a star? It looks big and
Because it's
yellow.
too that close, you know.
Oh, it is. I see.
And
So
it's in
stars
our-
are actually like the sun, but
I guess so. I
it's
don't know.
small.
I don't know, but it's in their solar system, you know.
It's in the
sometimes.
solar system. So you believe the Earth is a globe?
Well, what do you believe? No, I do actually. Yes.
You do? Why do you
that's
believe
one
the
of
Earth
you
is a
know
globe?
honestly because I thought a lot, but no, I
Why?
come to
Why
the,
do you think the Earth is a globe?
because I haven't seen any real evidence. It isn't like you see the
What
air
evidence?
balloons and
What
all that.
evidence? When you step outside your door in the day, right, or you go to the beach or whatever else, what do you see in your everyday life that would go, hey, you know what? I think I live on a ball.
Yeah, that's not how it works, you know.
It's not. Well, so you observe. You don't observe a globe, right? In other words, you don't.
That's
see,
again with the pulling down matter and all that.
well, wait,
But
wait,
listen,
wait. Let's stay with
it-
it. Let's stay with something.
yeah,
Do you observe what? I mean, you said that you see it every day. That you're on a globe. What do you see every
I
day
don't
that would
see.
make you?
I never
Okay.
see that, and I
Okay.
will
So what is
make
it
you
that makes
widen
you?
that one. But
So
listen,
what is it that you experience that makes you think you're on a globe?
bro, like listen, I've seen a lot of conspiracies on YouTube. Like again, we get brainwashed into thinking it all is a globe in TV and
But what
introductions of
experiences?
movie. Now listen, but what are your points on this
Okay,
shit? Like,
so
are you actually believing it's flat?
well, it's obviously flat.
Obviously, okay. So, and what is behind that? And what is behind that? But if it's flat, bro, like then it's all
Well, I
just
mean, do
kind of
you see
fake and an
anything different?
illusion. I
Wait a
don't think
second. Do
some
you
flat
hold
disk is
on?
flying
Do
around.
you?
Yeah, I do.
No, nobody thinks that at all. Nobody thinks that at all.
Okay,
So
okay,
you're coming from it
okay,
from a
okay.
wrong place.
But that
So
sounds like that when you're saying, I'm sorry,
no,
but you know what I
nobody
mean.
ever said that. Nobody. You assume that.
But you see
Okay.
videos, people going to space. It is one.
I know. I saw a video one time of these kids opened up a fucking closet and and in the back of the closet, it was a whole nother world where there was a talking lion and all kinds of shit. Does that mean
Well,
it's real?
I did DMT last week. That sounds like that. Nah, but like,
You know, I
bro,
also
like
saw a movie. I also saw a movie
you can't say the
where
Earth is
apes
flat.
evolved and took over the Earth. It was called
But listen,
Planet
you
of the
couldn't
Apes.
look me into the eyes, say the Earth is flat, and you actually believe that. Because
Well,
if you were the only one then believing that, you'd be
okay,
sick. Like
so
you
no,
would
it
wanna be
wouldn't.
like.
No, consensus does not dictate truth, Andy.
So what do you believe in? What do you believe in, sir?
Wait a
What do you
second.
like
I'm
to
asking
do?
you a question.
Yes.
What observation or experience do you have that would indicate to you that you lived on a globe Earth?
I don't really know. Other than videos again, yeah. I
Oh,
fly
so
all the
it
way
was
to
just
China. I've
so
been
the only
flying, but
way.
yeah, again, you don't really see it from
Okay,
that
so if
kind
nobody
of
told
attitude.
you, if nobody had told you that you live on a
No, but
globe,
boy, you're lying, saying you work for NASA, and now you're saying the Earth is flat. Well, like,
dude,
come
I
on.
was fucking
Okay,
kidding.
show
Of
me
course.
show me
Of
something
course,
that
I was
tells me
kidding.
you
I
work
don't
for
really
NASA.
work for. I don't really work for NASA.
Listen,
Of course, I'm on a YouTube show.
listen. I'm a software developer working for Intel, New Mexico.
Don't
I
care.
do like, like,
Don't
well, now
care.
listen. You don't even know.
I ask you a question, Andy, and I want you to answer it, please.
Answer what?
So,
Sorry.
if no one had ever told you that you live on a globe, why would you think that you do?
What do you mean?
Well, exactly that. If you had
No,
never been
I'm sorry.
told
I
that,
actually just lost
what
you there.
what would you see, or what experiences do you have throughout the day,
It's
every day
flat.
of
It's
your life?
flat. No, I give you that. It's flat. But
So then,
but
how would you think that you were on a globe other than just being told and
I
shown
know.
a
Yeah, and
video?
that's the thing I see on YouTube. They tell you in these conspiracy videos. They say, "Well, I'm not saying conspiracy, but these videos," and they're saying, and you're getting told in video or in the movies in the start. In the
Yeah,
trailers, it's
that's
like
the only place
globes,
you ever
and
see it.
from the school and so on, so on. Yeah, I get that, but bro,
So why do you believe it?
Why? Because I have never ever seen any evidence that it's not.
You
And
just
why
said you
it
see
doesn't
the
make
evidence.
any
Hold on,
sense
wait
it
a
should be
second,
flat,
Andy.
bro.
You
Then it should be
just
an illusion. Okay, tell me, but
you
listen,
just
you can't
gave
show me any
me.
evidence.
You
can
just
go
showed yourself, Andy. You just showed yourself. I asked you what
maybe, and I can see
experience.
myself and think myself, and I do something for myself. But saying it's flat because you've seen videos on YouTube, bro,
No,
come
it's
on.
not because we saw
Nah.
videos. You just explained it
Yes, it
yourself.
is. You have no evidence.
No,
Go
wait a
show me
second.
then. Have you a photo? You have a
Andy,
photo?
stop talking.
Yes.
Stop
Yes.
talking and listen. Okay. You just now admitted that you have no observations or experience that says that it's anything
The same did
but.
you. You're
Right.
faking sitting in a station.
Yeah.
Space.
So stay on
Listen,
topic.
brother,
Andy,
I get your
Andy,
point. No.
stay on
Yeah, well,
topic or I will boot you from the show.
yes, sir. And I
Okay.
love the
So
topic.
now,
And I
okay,
will love you,
great.
sir.
So
No,
answer
listen. I
No,
want to
I'm
just
not
say
going to
thank you.
listen. You keep interrupting me, and I'm not
So,
going to tolerate
yeah,
it.
I'm drunk. No, I get it. I get it.
I
I'll
know
listen
you're
to you
drunk.
now.
You
But
must
you
be.
keep talking also. Let me talk. But yeah, I'll listen.
Answer my you just answered the whole thing. You said you have no experiences or observations that would indicate to you that you live on a globe.
No.
Therefore,
I didn't do
you
that.
had to be told that you live on a globe.
You
Unless you
fished
can
for that
tell me
question
some
and made me
observations.
answer for no doubt, you know, like I didn't doubt it because it didn't really matter. But what I really believe is, yeah, it is round globe. I like that thought. Instead of
Well, so
believing in
you
that lie
think
you're
it's a
believing in
globe.
and being scared. I really hope you're not scared.
So
But
you
you know,
only
like
know you
these
only
conspiracies are getting like
only believe that it's a globe, right?
no.
Oh, so
I
you
don't. I
know
haven't
it's a
seen
globe?
it.
How do you
Listen,
know
I'm
it?
not an
How do
astronaut.
you see it? How do you see
I'm
it?
not an astronaut
Where
because
have you
today
seen
we
it?
have cameras everywhere, and they send it to the space. Bro, like you can go. Example, you see the guys called
Can space
perfect
be
guys
fake,
or
Andy?
these
Can space,
YouTubers. They got to space, and they also feel like,
can
yeah, I know
space
you
be
can
faked,
really.
Andy?
You
Andy,
should
can
always
space be
doubt
fake?
everything, and there
Can space be
will
fake?
always be doubt.
You're an
No,
irritating fucking person. You're gonna
no,
go.
sorry.
Bye. You're very irritating.
He's very irritating. He
He
wouldn't
is
shut up.
irritating as fuck, man. I don't think that guy's got two brain cells to rub together. I really do. I think he might have two brain cells left, and they're fighting each other in a death match, fucking domination. You know?
Oh yeah, I
don't
agree.
yeah, that guy. What a fucking moron. He just got done saying, "No, I've never seen anything that would indicate that to me, but I see it." What the fuck do you mean he see it?
He hasn't looked into it, man. He just saw what he saw on TV. That was it.
He's dumb. You know, I'm really getting to the point where I don't have any whole lot I'm patience for these fucktards. You know, really, it's bad.
So, Dave, how are we doing this evening?
I am doing great. How are you, Roger?
I'm wonderful. I'm still a little under the weather. That's about it. But other than that, beautiful.
Oh, this was pretty good too. I found this. This is this guy. Another one. Earth is flat, space is fake on Twitter. Put this out. He said, "Dude annihilates NASA in his back yard." And I thought this was pretty good. I like it. You know, I wish at least if there were somebody from the globe side that could come up here and actually fucking have a coherent conversation, would actually come up here. But all you ever get from that side are these unhinged fucking weirdos, man. I don't even know where the fuck they come from. You know what I'm saying?
He looked like he came right out of the frat, dude. Like, hey, bro, how's it going? I'm from Denmark.
Oh, look here. There you go. He's out here in the chat running his face too now. So all you can do is ban somebody. And it's like, you weren't making any fucking sense. You sound like a goddamn drunk. You know?
He wouldn't let you get a word in edgewise neither. He just kept going and going and going.
About nothing.
Yeah. You asked him a question, he's like, didn't answer the question, just I think pictured and didn't. Okay.
There you go, Glenn. Who's talking? Igor? What did Igor have to say? Igor saying something here. Glenn's going on. Glenn says, or you could easily increase the pressure by cooling the water. Yeah, gas pressure and gas and water work differently, my friend. Okay. Liquids are not compressible fluids. Gases are. Just, you know, you might want to start there with a premise. Anyway.
Could the gloves the astronauts wore on their pressurized spacesuits have actually worked on the moon?
What I do is I pull a vacuum in this chamber I created, and I have a glove inserted inside of it. And it was to prove that the flexibility they shown in their suits and gloves are impossible. Right now, I can put my hand in there and I can move it every which way. I can grasp, I make a fist, I can lift up, down. But as soon as I throw this switch here, I evacuate the chamber.
As air is sucked out of the machine, the vacuum makes it more and more difficult to move the glove.
And this glove doesn't want to move. I can't bend it backwards. I can hardly force it down. I mean, how could you pick up small screws and bolts like they've shown them to do, or trigger a little tiny trigger on a camera with the glove doing this?
If it seems impossible to operate a camera properly in pressurized gloves, how could these perfect pictures have been taken?
I have seen that one before.
Those are good questions, man. It was very difficult to work his hand in a vacuum like that, in low pressure. Very even more difficult to manipulate a camera. And you know, these are just some of the questions that arise when it comes to this whole moon landing, going to space horse shit. And it's because they have to find a way to explain away the physical impossibilities involved. You know, and just people are going to have to just get in their heads. There's just some places you're not going to go unless it's in your imagination. Okay. They're just going to have to fucking accept that. You know,
I blame it on Jules Verne. It's all his fault, dude. You want to take a trip to the moon?
Oh, I know. But see, there again, like any good, well, he had some good stories. And, you know, they did a lot of them, airships. Of course, I think those were already around. Submarines and things like that, they did come to pass. But as far as like rocket ships to the moon, no, baby, that's not happening. It hasn't happened yet. It's not going to. Okay, you're not getting out of here, not in physical form. That's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. I was doing a bunch of shit earlier, and then I popped onto Melodome for a little bit, and then I saw that PJ Cruikshank had a stream going, and I guess they were talking about the Tower of Babel, and I see kind of a correlation between this effort and that, you know.
Yeah, I was there at that stream. He did a pretty good job, but it kept losing the service, though. He had to restart it.
Yeah, I mean, it was some interesting stuff there. You know, it's you can take observations, all kinds of observations, and you can speculate on what it is you're looking at, and you can make logical sort of conclusions as to what it is you believe you're seeing. However, it's still only an observation. All right.
Not science.
Have to be able to actually find out what the hell it is, what it's made up of, how the fuck does it work, and these are all just amazing things that we're not able to actually, I don't know, check. You know, I know that there's nobody from India sending a fucking rocket ship to the sun. I mean, that's just dumb as shit, you know?
Oh, yeah, bet you it is.
So,
but if people will believe it, they'll portray it like it's real. So.
It's because they're gullible, you know? What is this one? Oh, okay. So this is kind of what I wanted to get to here in a minute. So what are your thoughts on NPCs? In fact, let's go over to here. We're going to get a little interactive here. Let's see. Okay, are NPCs
real? There's a good question.
No. Okay, I'm going to start the Q&A. Okay. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? You know what? Wait a second. I'm going to do it different. Let me just get out of this. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do it this way. That was a bad way to do it. We'll just go this way. It's easier. Are NPC, oops, C's. Where's apostrophe? There it is. Real. Let's see what the audience thinks so far. We've got 108 people over here, and we've got, I don't know if we got anybody over on there, but let me take a look here real quick and refresh. Nope.
Are you going to start a poll?
8. Yeah, it should be over in the chat right now. It is the question is, are NPCs real or not? And
my testimony is, I think they're real.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. And this is pretty good. This let me see who put this out. This is another robot polisher. Little 6-minute video. Let me put the I can put the link to where I get this from, so you can all go over and check it out. All right, there we go. And let me present screen. There we go. And while this is playing, I'm gonna go to the vacuum toity. All right.
I mean, there's an argument by Rudolf Steiner that, like, some people are literally incapable of individuation.
Just some dumb, blind lemming, you know, like an NPC.
Because they won't take a shot that kills your ass.
Yeah, that's right. But people did it. People did it. The NPCs did it.
An NPC, you know, in like a video game. Like, are you even real? Like, how do we know you're not an NPC, you know?
I don't have an internal monologue.
Start conversations with children by saying something like this.
Is it still hot out there?
Or this.
Did you catch a game last night?
Or this.
Have you tried the lasagna? It's my favorite.
Or this.
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
Was it hot enough for you? Is it hot enough for you out there? That's another one NPCs say.
People have nothing to say.
I can
Basically,
relate. Yes, absolutely. And if you try to engage in any kind of meaningful conversation with somebody like that, it doesn't happen. You can't. You know, like, oh, I like ice cream. You know. Oh my God.
I hear that other people have like a constant kind of dialogue and stream in their head, and that when they're doing a task, they'll just be thinking about things the entire time they're doing a task. It actually kind of feels a little overwhelming.
I always reject logic. It always confuses people. What the fuck? We lost Roger back here somehow. I don't know. It says his devices are not connected. So I don't know. Roger will probably be back with us. Like I said, let's take a look at the poll real quick, and we'll finish this. Just 1 second. What's our poll looking like? Ooh, 82% think that NPCs are real. That's pretty good. Right now, Kim Ray, we're watching this thing from Robot Polisher. He was talking about he did a thing about NPCs, and we're kind of talking about that. We're spitballing it. Who knows, you know? So he asks how it must have been around because I'm a teacher. Go ahead, jump now. You asked for that. Susie, what's up? Yeah, wow, Susie, haven't seen you in a long time, man. How you doing tonight? She's here to indoctrinate everyone. Well, that's good, Susie. Wonderful, wonderful. Good luck. Absolutely, good luck. I don't think my people in here, at least 99% of them, are not indoctrinatable. They have broken away from indoctrination. So, hey. Well, okay. Everybody that's not Lisa, and I know her. There you go. It's all good.
Helps knowing how other people think. You can kind of react better and maybe expect less.
Try it.
Yeah, you don't get any smoke if you go with the flow, but I'm here to tell you, folks, there's only 2 things that really ever go with the flow, and that's dead fish and shit. Consensus does not dictate truth. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that. I know that you guys get it, but I mean, every time I see that kind of shit, but most people think, I don't give a shit what most people say. Richard Dawkins says, I don't give a shit what Richard Dawkins says. I don't give a shit what Richard Feynman says. I don't give a fuck. They're not the arbitrator of shit. Okay? I don't accept that. Don't appeal to authority all the time. They're just people. They shit just like you.
Yeah, I had to go feed the coffee maker.
Oh, well, yeah, that's always a good thing to do. I have to always feed mine too. Mine's well fed too, I'll tell you what. I don't know. I got this French roast. I wasn't sure if I wanted French roast. You know, I was like, yeah, Frenchy frou-frou. But it was like half price on closeout at the grocery store. And I was like, so for 2 boxes, for the cost of a regular box, I can get 2 of these. I might like French roast. It's nothing to write home about. It's French. What can you say about it, right?
Asking a question, answer in a sentence or two. Making friendly conversations like this, you say, we're glad you're here.
Not absolute and fixed. Can both of those things be true?
Yeah, depends how you look at it, I suppose.
Oh my goodness.
No one likes to be wrong, especially ignorant people. No one wants to figure out that their understanding of the world is flawed or foolish. That's why narrow-minded people display an unrelenting loyalty to their opinion.
I'm not making arguments. I don't know. I mean, like, certainly not logical ones. I mean, what
clip this, man? You're coping. Do you know what coping is?
I mean,
see, that's one of the things I've noticed too, and especially when it comes down to these people say, "Oh, go learn science, Flurf," and I'm like, we're talking about science right now. Well, tell me your flat Earth physics. Well, that tells me right off the bat that you don't know physics. Physics is physics. It's not flat Earth physics. It's not globe physics, anything. It's physics. That's all. That's all there is. Stop. Okay? And we're going to use that physics to show the ridiculous impossibilities of which your idea postulates. Okay? And that's what I do. And then we come to a realm where you use the scientific method, you use logic and reason, you've destroyed every stupid argument that they have, and then they start getting into the well, it could be, or what if, and shit like that. And I'm always, what if a bullfrog had wings? He wouldn't bump his ass every time he jumps. But guess what? Bullfrog don't have wings. So there we are.
My table ass is watertight too.
Yeah, hopefully. Maybe that's how they use it. Maybe they use that for ballast. Maybe they suck the water in out of their ass for ballast so they can go up and down. I don't know. They do have a little air bladder inside of them. Fish do. They have an air bladder inside of them that they contract and expand in order to go up higher and lower in the water. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Principles of buoyancy and density right there. See, that's why I say if we were an aquatic creature, if we were an aquatic species that lived on the bottom of the ocean, think how different our physics would be. And of course, if we lived at the very bottom of the ocean, it would be near to impossible for us to get to the surface because the pressure would kill us. And then once we did get to the surface, right, that's about as far as we'd be able to go. Right? We might break the surface and come back into the water, wouldn't we?
Yeah. Now you're making me hungry. I want some lobster.
But you see do you see the comparison? Do you see the comparison? It's the same thing as us here on land trying to get out of this medium. It would be the same as an aquatic creature trying to get out of that medium, right?
Maybe you should sit down and have a talk with Elon.
With who?
Listen, guy. Elon. Elon.
I think
Mr. Musk.
I think that he's an NPC as well. I think that he's a puppet, a person that they put out there as a front guy, and he's completely programmable. Okay, wherever the people shall need a hero, we will provide one. Keep that statement in mind; it always rings true.
Perhaps not the way you're
Think about it. If there's an idea and then you're convincing yourself that idea is not true, don't you think it's pretty ridiculous in order to do that, you have to misrepresent the actual idea so you can make it more ridiculous? You think this is science and you've used the word 50 times. You don't know what it is. It can't be verified. You automatically default hand your brain over to the idea of other experts, and you've yet to even research and understand what it is that you believe. How do you not see a problem with that?
Armed with an unhealthy bias of illusory superiority, these low-ability people cannot objectively evaluate their own mental shortcomings. In other words, they are too stupid to know how stupid they are.
Are you vaccinated? Yeah, obviously. I'm like, hold on. I actually,
I'm like 3 boosters in. Some of the boosters, I love them. I'm going to take them all forever now.
They're all NPCs and you can say whatever you want to them.
Not everybody can be a robot polisher.
There's actually some people you literally just have 0% chance of getting through to. Right? Like they're gone, bro.
Huh?
Yeah, man, that's Robot Polisher, and of course, a lot of the clips on there were, of course, Austin Whitsitt. He causes these poor bastards to melt down, bad, really bad. But yeah, that whole idea, that NPC thing, and this is I've known this for like a long time. I of course didn't use the term NPC at all because I was noticing this before an NPC was even a thing, right? But I found a correlation between the type of literature that would be in a person's home. Of course, today most people don't have paper and ink literature in their home. They mostly have everything online. But back then, everything was periodicals or magazines and things like that. And if I go into somebody's house and I saw like People magazine and Us and celebrity bullshit, things like that, stuff that's about nothing that matters whatsoever at all, I was usually going, I think I'd already know, I'd be like, all right, I can only engage to a limited level of intellect with this person. I would gauge it by that, as opposed to go into somebody's house and there lays a copy of Popular Mechanics. He might have some really cool reference material or something like that on a bookshelf, something even maybe obscure, exploring dialects of ancient languages, whatever. You'd get more of an idea that way, and of course you have to talk to the person too, but you can usually get an initial gauge by that kind of thing, the stuff that they want to talk about. Intelligent people talk about things. Unintelligent people talk about other people. That's
I was reading 4 books by the time I was 14. So, yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. I have a small library.
You're starting a robot on me, Roger.
Okay, let's see if I can do better.
Sounds going out the butt.
All right. I don't want to talk to the butt.
Something Wong was getting upset.
Damn, so
did you?
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah. So I'm sure everybody saw the. Of course, I did a show on it. A lot of people have covered it. It's pretty big shit, really. That Flat Earth Dave on the Alex Jones show the other night, and we covered it last night. Was it last night that we covered that, or the night before? I don't know. My days run together for me.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I thought it was like the WWE, dude. It was just like Worldwide Wrestling Federation. They were just putting on a show. That's all they were doing. It's pretty much scripted. The behind the scenes stuff is good.
What do you think's behind the exposure? I think it's an attempt to co-opt it.
Yeah, they want to make it look like a fool's game, dude. So they're doing a good job of it.
Not really. Not really. No, not at all.
No,
they're not doing a good job at it at all. In fact, with every desperate attempt that they make, the more they show their hand.
Yeah, to people like you and me, but like the guy that was just in here a minute ago, he actually thinks all that shit's real, dude. He's bought hook line.
That dude that was in here before, I remember he was on here another time too, and he's just a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
he doesn't know anything one way or the other. He just wants to be on a show and waste everybody's fucking time. That's all he does. It don't matter what the topic is. I've seen him around before. I just kicked him the fuck out of here. So
he's a troll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's not here to learn shit. He just wants to come in and make a scene and get the fuck out. Yeah.
Here's a very dishonest person right here.
Oh, hey, Luge.
Hello.
Oh, Lord.
Now, I'll tell you one thing. I wish Eddie Bravo would have fuck up about any mud flood shit and Tartarian shit. Don't even do that. Stick to the fucking topic, man. Stick to the topic. I mean, you have a guy whose name is literally Flat Earth Dave, right? Who has flatearthdave.com, and you want to talk about fucking Trump? Come on, man. Right? So that was definitely, I think, on Eddie's part, a method of seeming as though he is a compatriot of Dave Weiss, but was actually working with Alex to sideline the fucking show, to sideline the topic.
Wait, have you ever looked into Alex Jones's background?
Oh yeah, I met the guy.
Yeah, he's there's rumor back when I first got on his little InfoWars thing and about his history. Him and Bill Hicks are the same person.
I'm sorry, what did you say again?
Bill Hicks. Him and Bill Hicks are one and the same. Yeah.
But even if they are, okay. The reality of it is we can see that he's an actor, as we showed there last night. I guess the feds have said they're going to seize all of his shit because of the $1 billion that he owes in a lawsuit. You all know that's a show, right? That's what people cared about, speaking out about the fakery involved with a lot of these events.
With the hook event there, that one.
Yeah. So they want to scare people away from even questioning it or talking about it in an open forum, because, oh my God, you better not say that. You better not notice that and point it out, because God, look what happened to Alex Jones. Well, nothing really happened to Alex Jones. And now they're playing it up even more by, the feds are going to seize InfoWars and shit. He came on and he fake cried again. I've seen this guy fake cry. Him and Glenn Beck are like the biggest phony goddamn fake criers I've ever seen in my life. He laid that out. He did a total Robbie Parker. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Coincidink, right? We reference back to the same event, but he did a Robbie Parker crying about pointing out Robbie Parker. That's really what happened.
That's irony, right? That's what you would call it. Yeah.
So, this is some crazy shit that goes on with this whole show. You got to be careful with what's going on there. I'm really, really, really skeptical and speculative of anyone of huge notoriety that comes out and goes, yeah, the earth is flat. I want to talk to flat earthers. I'm like, okay, good. Shut the fuck up and you take the back seat and listen, because you're new.
Now, hold on. You got to buy my supplements. They're the best in the world.
Oh, yeah. Need some boner pills. Need some Alex Jones boner pills, man.
Bone broth. It'll make you strong.
Yeah.
I have a question.
All right.
Go ahead.
Why did you title the stream the way? Why is the title of the stream WTF Is Going On?
Because that's the title of the show.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, what are you talking about?
What the fuck is going on?
Oh, you mean like I went like
you just now learned that WTF means what the really?
No, I knew that.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get your question into context.
I'm trying. I wanted to figure out, like, what do you mean? Like, what the F is going on? What does that refer to?
It refers to this crazy fucking world that we live in, and in particularly how it relates to the topics that we talk about. Have you not noticed that there's some really large things that have happened within this topic here in just the last few weeks?
Well, yeah. Well, I know a lot. No, not really.
Not really. Yeah. You're not aware that David Weiss went on a huge platform called InfoWars. You're not aware that Dave Weiss did an interview on the Roseanne Barr show on her YouTube channel, and then it out in the next couple of days. And you're not aware of the large amount of coverage this is getting by notorious people, and I don't mean in a bad way, but from Kylie Irving to Stu Peters to Cat Williams to all these different people that are actually coming out and saying shit.
Even Eddie Griffith came out.
Yeah, Eddie Griffith.
I don't know that.
Yeah, they are.
You ought to get out of your basement a little more.
Well,
he's waiting for the final experiment.
It's not an experiment. If somebody can explain to me how that's an experiment, I'm all ears.
I can.
Okay.
Oh, please do.
Have you ever heard of observational experiments?
No.
Science?
Doing an observational experiment.
Okay, so what's the independent variable that you're going to modulate in order to prove the hypothesis?
Well, you can't really get more scientific.
So it's just an observation, right?
You make the observation.
Yeah.
If what you predict would happen in that observation happens, then you confirm that
the cause.
You confirm it.
No, it's not really an experiment. It's just an observation. It's either going to fucking happen or it's not going to happen. It has nothing to do with an experiment. It's just looking at from a location, which I might add, thousands of people have already done. You realize this is an already established camp that people have gone to and have stayed at and have taken video equipment. And nobody has done this yet or remarked on it, right? Not to mention, it's an area that is surrounded by mountains, which is going to obscure. I lived amongst mountains. I lived right by the Sierra Mountains, in between those and the Coso Mountains. And it really, sunset to my house was much, much earlier than it was anywhere else in California. Okay?
Yeah, I live right in
From my house, I never saw the sunset. Never did. Even though it was still visible, the mountain blocked my way. Now, as I pointed out on my previous show, there's another place that's actually another trip they have that actually has you go to 90 degrees south and you stay overnight. Now, that's not obscured by a bunch of fucking mountains, and you would be able to absolutely be able to see a 24-hour sun if indeed there was a 24-hour sun. Also, keep in mind, we are not talking about 24 hours of daylight. We are talking about 24 hours of a visible sun as it is in the north. Okay?
Yes,
right.
I agree. Yes.
So why is that an experiment, though? You haven't really explained it.
It's an observational experiment.
No, it's just an observation.
Observation is the first step in the experiment. That's really what that is.
Then why are the things? Why are the sayings as observational experiments?
I don't know. Why is there such thing as dehydrated water? Why do they say other contradictory oxymoron statements? And then if you use it enough, does it make it a real thing? No, it's not an experiment. It's just an observation.
And one more thing, astronomy is not science.
No,
astronomy is observation. Yeah, no.
Yeah, the observational experiments, though.
Okay, that's what are you experimenting besides just looking at something? What are you doing in the experiment to make it an experiment?
If you're looking at something to show that it happens, it's an experiment.
No, you're seeing something that happens. That's it.
That's all you're doing is seeing something that happens.
You do a prediction.
The only independent variable that you could manipulate is your eyes, and that would be by going like this, covering them up and then opening them again.
Well, how do you think they like the what's another example? The what's experiment that
Good God,
has
spit
to
it
do
out, boy.
with-
It ain't yours. Come on.
Is that Michelson Morley? Was that an observational experiment?
Michelson Morley? That's not a real experiment. They made a prediction about what light would do, and they didn't get the results they wanted. That's not an experiment. They used a tool to play with it that had some scientific technology that was involved with it, but that's not really an experiment. They didn't manipulate anything in nature to cause anything in nature. You have to be able to manipulate your cause to prove that that is the cause. That's the whole that's the whole reason for the experiment. That's how you experiment. You have to be able to manipulate your variable. Sorry. Yeah. That's just that simple. They can't manipulate the sun. They can't go, we can tweak the sun a little bit. Maybe it'll change where it is or what causes the sun to do what it does. You can't do that. That's playing God. And that's what they want.
But I'll tell you, this is the craziest aspect of it too. Okay. Instead of doing how many ever people, this god awful amount of people, 25 or whatever else, that's a lot of money right there. Why don't they just take the money and send two, one from each side? And instead of going to this trip, go to the one that goes right to the pole. The same company has it. Now, that trip is about $83,000 per person. But if you're only sending two people, it's still going to be less than all those other people would have to pony up together to be able to go. Right? So that's more within the realm of possibility right there. And plus, you're going to be at an area that you're absolutely guaranteed to see a 24-hour sun, if indeed there is one. Right?
Guaranteed. Huh. Yeah.
There it is.
I don't think that you get that there though. But
now I can't think of any logical reason whatsoever that going to there or the other place is a difference of $50,000. I can't see a justification in that cost other than they're discouraging people from booking it.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a center. So,
What?
It's the center of.
So what? Name another place in the world that it costs you $83,000 to go there.
Well,
nothing. Name me one other fucking place on earth that it costs you $83,000 to go to.
Well, why would it cost $83,000?
There you go. That's my
question. Yeah.
Well, why would any other place in the world cost $83,000?
Why would any place cost $83,000 to go to? Okay.
Well, I know why.
Why?
Please.
Because it's like you need all of this high gear to go there.
You have to bring your own gear. They don't supply it. They only supply you with a fucking GPS, satellite phone, and it's not yours. They only give you the set. You have to buy the satellite. Shut up a minute, Luke. I'm talking.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No.
Okay.
They give you you can go to the trip. Would you like to see all the stuff that's included with it? And you try to justify $50,000 difference in that package. I'll be glad to hear that. Let me grab this up here real quick.
Would it be the ice cream and the strawberry?
Hang on.
They have to take you there by boat as well. So
there you go. South Pole overnight. There you go.
That you have to
send that to you.
They have to take you there by ship too.
So
that ship ride's included in cost.
All right, wait a second. Here's the problem, Luch. Okay, I want you to think logically. All right. Now the place that they're already planning on going only cost what, $33,000.
Yeah, that's
okay. Now the other place,
what,
is an additional $50,000. Roger, your microphone is really fucking up.
I know. I didn't want to say anything.
Okay, so here's the big problem, right? What justifiable cost is there of $50,000 from Union Camp to the 90th degree mark? $50,000, Luke. $50,000. You're already there. You've done your ship. You've landed on land. You telling me a Piper Cub ride, a small aircraft ride, costs $50,000? What? There's nothing to justify that cost. I put the link in the private chat. Look it over. You tell
I'd
me
have
what
to look at what they say.
Yeah, read it.
Yeah, like why
Absolutely.
would it cost an extra?
Yeah, I'll tell you. You want to know why? Do you want to know why?
Why is that?
Because it discourages people from dropping $83,000 to go to a fucking snow camp. That's why. Who in the fuck is going to pay that kind of money to go do that and sit there and eat some little tiny morsel of food that they call gourmet and a glass of champagne? Really? Who's going to pay $83,000 for that? How about just a fraction of that? And you can go to Sandals in the Bahamas. I mean, for fuck's sake, let's get real.
I probably have more fun at Sandals anyways.
Damn straight, bro. So this was a kind of interesting thing here too, because I want to kind of stir the pot with this too, because they are finding some stuff that's just not with the historical narrative.
I'm going to look up the reason why.
It's kind of interesting, man. Some of the shit that you see in this imagery. I don't know.
I thought you weren't going to go to mud floods. You went straight there.
Yeah, well, the thing is, if you're doing like they were doing, and my point was this.
Yeah.
Here's a guy who's just spent 2 hours ranting about Trump and bitching and complaining and being a cheerleader for the false left-right paradigm, right? He gets a guest that comes on, and he knows the guy's wheelhouse. He knows what the guy talks about. Actually had his producer ask him to answer a few questions in the green room, such as regarding Magellan circumnavigation, blah, 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 blah. So here comes Dave Weiss on there. And if it's not Alex Jones interjecting with stupid shit, here comes Eddie jumping in to really muddy the waters, no pun intended, with mud flood shit. And I'm like, don't do that. Okay? You're already dealing with somebody who's at fucking square one of flat earth.
Yeah.
You can't go and just confuse and muddy up the water that way, man. So I wished he hadn't done that. I think it, in my opinion, I believe it was on purpose. I really do. And I could see that Dave was getting perturbed and trying not to show it, but he was getting upset. And at one time he kind of finally snapped and he goes, stay away from that. Stay away from Jupiter, stick to the topic or something along those lines.
Yeah. Leave Jupiter alone. It's not part of the topic. We're talking about
leave Jupiter alone.
Yeah.
There's burning the corporate fiction. He's in here burning corporate fictions and science fiction.
It looks like it's on fire. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I might have to use that. So I usually obviously don't do anything on weeknights because I have to work in the morning, so I won't be on here long. I just wanted to talk to Luca. Right? Oh God, yes. Listen.
Hello.
So what I do generally is my dad and I, we watch each other's content. I watch his at work. So I got it in the earbud. I can't take it out and skip over stupid shit, right? So I end up hearing you a lot. And here's the issue that I have is so the hallmark of an intelligent person is the ability to recognize patterns, right? There's one pattern I've noticed with you, Luca, and I just got to call it out, man, before I go to bed tonight, because I'm listening to it right now. You know, I feel compelled to point this out. You are a very good troll. You are. And I'm not trying to, you know, cause drama on the channel or nothing like that, but it's so frustrating because there's so many times where we get into a good topic on this channel and you affect this air of stupidity, or maybe it's kind of like you've got a speech impediment, you know, and if these things are seriously wrong with you and I'm wrong, I mean, hey, you know, nobody's right 100% of the time, but I'm telling you, there's something that tells me that you come on here and other flat earth channels just to completely derail from an excellent topic and the point of the conversation because you're so good at it. You really are. Like you're amazing. You know?
He's an NPC, man. He's obviously an NPC.
I don't even think he's an NPC. I think he's a really good troll.
Conversations change depending on what subjects you're talking about.
Yes, Luca, I agree. Conversations change when some fucking jackass jumps in and starts talking about some off-topic shit, just like you do.
No,
you do such a good job because you make people actually have some kind of sympathy for you, like I did until I recognized the pattern. Because
and then,
you air kind of like the effect of like a little bit of an impediment, right? And you know, people just assume like, okay, this guy, you know, he's just asleep, and it's, you know, and you listen to you get this kind of feeling of sympathy. But here's the simple fact. I know for a fact that nobody can be as willfully ignorant as you are. You see what I'm saying? Like with the amount of evidence that's been presented to you, even the dumbest person on the planet would at least be, oh, okay, that's a good point. You've been completely painted into a corner all the time, actually. But I feel like that affecting the air of stupidity is one of the things you do to get people not questioning, to make sure they don't question your trolling.
I don't divert this
all the time at the most important points. Yes, you do. You're actually the best out of all. You're better than McToon. You're better than Fight the Flat Earth. You're better than all of them because you jump in and people feel bad for you, so they actually let you speak. Where the other people, they know not to feel, you know what I mean? Like they're like, you guys are just being dicks. You manage to draw sympathy out of the people watching, and you derail from the entire topic every single time. And I feel like everybody needs to realize that, because every episode of my dad's show that you've been on, without fail, you turn the whole conversation into something that was never even close to the original topic for a great length of time. And the points you're making, it'd be different if you were like a skilled debater or actually presenting, you know, intelligent and thought-provoking counterpoints, but you're not.
It's Ryan. It's exactly like when that dude was in Idiocracy was trying to explain why they shouldn't use Brondo on the fucking plant.
Yes, it is.
But it has electrolytes. What are electrolytes? It's what they make Brondo from. And it's like, holy shit, you know, and the guy ended up having to convince the people that he could actually talk to fucking plants, and that's what they didn't want Brondo. I mean, this is where we're at with you, Luch. I've got a poll up there in the chat right now, and the poll is whether or not we should shit can Luch for good from the show. He's already been shit canned off of Flatzoid. I haven't let him up the last couple of times, and I let him up this time, and
but I just have to point out how he is actually a very good troll. Like, I'll give you credit there. You're a good fucking troll because you pretend to be so fucking stupid that people feel sorry for you.
Well,
but I refuse to believe, as stupid as people are, I refuse to believe that anybody is as stupid as you have pretended to be while simultaneously even being able to hold a discussion about what we are speaking on. That dichotomy doesn't exist. You can't be so stupid that you say and think and do the things that you do and at the same time understand the concepts well enough to even hold a discussion on it. You can't be that dichotomous. That doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, to say
Nobody as stupid as you pretend to be exists yet.
Observational science could be like an audience at a magic show. Just because they witness something happen doesn't mean it fucking happens.
And it certainly isn't science.
No, absolutely not. And all I'm pointing out is this isn't a Luca bashing thing. At least that's not how I intended it. It's just to point out that, dude, it's like I'm hip to you and everybody else needs to be hip to how you derail the conversations that are very good on this show into shit that has nothing to do with anything. And you consistently come back and there's no amount of obvious, like the most obvious you actually listen to and are explained, or the facts of are explained to you on the most essential, fundamental aspects of this whole thing, and you actually listen to it. Where we run into problems with Globers, they don't listen to it. No, I'm serious though. Nobody that's stupid, for real. Okay, but you will. You willfully ignore the most obvious. The biggest problem we have with other Globers, right? Like with the average Globers, the fact that they won't listen to what we have to say and explore it intellectually or with any kind of thought. You actually sit there and walk through whole scenarios.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was reading the comment. You actually walk through the entire scenario where, like, if I showed my 2-year-old daughter right now, she'd probably understand what was being explained, right? And you still pretend to not understand it. And you literally detract at the most important points of so I'm just standing by that. I think Luca is a professional troll. I do.
I need everybody to vote in the poll.
Should I be?
We've got 146 people. We've got 146 people watching. There's a poll up there. We also need to hit that thumbs up button. Come on, folks. Let's get that algorithm out there and share, like, subscribe, and everything. But we've got a poll up there of whether or not we should shit can Luch. We're good. We're going to let that be audience driven. We're going to let that be audience driven. So we'll see. Right now, it's not looking good for you, Luch.
No, there's 14% that think that you shouldn't. And let me tell you something about that 14%. They feel bad for you. That's it. It's not that you didn't annoy them. It's not that you didn't take away from what they even tuned in for in the first place. They just feel bad for you. And I'm hip to that shit. You're not seriously that fucking stupid. There's no way.
Yeah, I can't buy it either. I can't buy it either. And he claims that he gets a flake check, one of them retard checks from the government because he's unable to work. And he doesn't seem like, I'm sure there's some kind of a job you could do, man. I know there's a place here that they take people like you and they give them a job where they and there's a bunch of nuts and bolts and shit that have been fall on the floor at a manufacturing facility, and they just come all mixed together as washers, bolts, and everything, and they sort them out. They put all the 1/4-20 bolts in this bucket, and they put all the certain size washers in this bucket. You could do something like that easily. I'm sure you don't do anything. So why don't you? Why do you rather sit back on your ass and suck welfare off people, man? What's wrong?
The whole thing is you're still talking to this guy like he's retarded. I've heard some of the things he was capable of understanding. Like you guys
That's what I'm saying. He's ripping off the taxpayers. Huge.
Yeah. I don't get. Yeah. There's no way. There's just no way I call bullshit on it. 100%.
It's just autism is.
Oh, no, I don't want to hear a fuck about it. Everybody and their brother's fucking autistic now. Shut up.
For fuck's sake, everybody has a disability, dude. This isn't a real thing. Like, and you got everybody. But here's the thing.
Do you
I
think
even beyond.
ADHD is a real thing?
No, absolutely not. It's a lack of mental discipline. It's a lack of mental discipline. It's pure and simple. That's what ADHD. But see here, you're fucking sidetracking again. I'm not going to get into that. I mean, I will. It's actually, I do, because television initially caused ADHD, where you got like a child focusing on one subject for 10 minutes, you know, the main program, that's why they call it a program of the television show, watching it for 10 minutes, and you've got another 10-minute block after that of just constant attention splitting fucking commercials, like, oh, focus on this, draws you in, boom, minute and a half. It literally programmed these kids' mind, the television generation, my generation. It programmed their minds to divert their attention every minute and a half to something else. That's literally what the entirety of upbringing, allowing children to watch television, that's what happened. So, yeah, I don't think ADHD is a real thing. I think it's a lack of mental discipline. I think it's something that's been programmed into you, and it can be programmed out of you.
Yeah, this is just part of that. I'm not accountable for my own fucking behavior. Shit. It's just another way of I'm not accountable for myself. So give me a check.
I didn't say that.
Well, then what are you doing?
No, I think I attribute an extra level of nefariousness to your presence here, because I think that you actually are intentionally derailing this conversation.
No.
Vote in the poll, Chaos Code. Vote in the poll, buddy.
It's
right now we're at 82% want to shit can you right now. That's 60 votes. We're about halfway. We need
just don't kick me off immediately. Let me leave voluntarily, because I always leave.
I understand, but people, my audience hates you.
If you ask me to leave, I'll leave voluntarily.
Well, I'm asking my audience. Listen, my audience hates you. Okay. And I'm asking my audience who hates you, and there's a couple in there that feel sorry for you. But the majority right now, 80% of the people in my audience hate you, and they want you gone. So I haven't ended the poll yet. That's only of 62 people that are watching out of 142. Okay, that's less than half. So we're gonna let the poll go for a little while. You know, unless you get really stupid and I get irritated enough with you, then I'll just throw your fucking ass out of here. You know,
but that's what happens every time. So that's how we know what you're doing. You might leave tonight, Luca. You might be like, oh, I want to leave willingly tonight, but are you going to come back? And when you come back, what's your intention? Because you know your intention isn't to learn anything. Because I've seen everything drawn out for you, like basically verbatim, line by line, like you should be able to see anything if you were trying to learn about this, but you can't see anything because you're not. That's never your intention to come here.
Let me ask you a question, Luch. Do you think you're in a position to teach anybody anything?
No.
All right, then shut the fuck up.
Oh,
that's very simple. Yeah, that's the way. But here's the thing. I'm trying to get you to realize your intention to come here is only to argue every single time.
No.
And while we're not an echo chamber, and we're willing to, on any of our channels, any of the people in this community, we're willing to entertain people who are interested to learn. You're not interested to learn. So that means either you're intentionally being a dickhead just of your own free will and volition, because you're not stupid enough to be doing it by accident, or you're actually being encouraged to do this. Either way, it's fucking annoying. I watch it on every episode you come on. I want to literally, this is the reason I'm on tonight, and I don't come on. I'm here just to tell you this, because I've wanted to say it every single time I've watched an episode with you on it. I've wanted to say, like, damn, I just so happen to be up tonight and able to do it. So, yes, get the fuck out of here.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Now that's an insult.
What's up, Ethan?
What's up, Doc? Hey, Ryan, thank you so much. My dude, I've been waiting for weeks to say something, but honestly, a lot of these guys come on. Sorry, there's so much. There might be delays, you guys. I'm sorry.
No, it's not you. It was Roger. It's not you. It was Roger. He's got somebody yelling in the background, and it's coming over on this.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to Ryan because I've been holding back on saying something, but I don't even know the guy's name. Dude, you're really annoying. You're really bogging down the show. And Sav, your show's awesome. I think you're one of the funniest motherfuckers on the internet. Dude, you need to protect. Well, I'm not going to tell you to do your show. I think you need to protect your show a little bit. You have a great show. This is an awesome show. Ryan's right. This is my favorite show. I watch every freaking episode twice every night. I love this show. And some of these guys get on here and they ramble and they rant and it's tough. They overtalk each other. So Ryan, thank you for saying something. I feel the same way. There's a reason that chat went 80% or that poll went 80%. And also Ryan, where have you been, dude? We've been missing you. Get a show going.
Somebody asked me on one of my posts earlier, and honestly, the truth is this: if I can, Dad, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
The truth of the matter is this, so with what I explain on my show, and if you guys don't watch my show, I generally talk about the law because other than where we live, the law under which you live is the most important thing, and I think both are equally important. That's why I promote both so heavily, and actually, on an ultimate level, they're intertwined, but we're not going to get into that. So the reason, on my shows, I go through and I've explained stuff that I've never seen anybody else explain. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but nobody else talks about the mortgage and the trust indenture. I show you where Congress admitted to mortgaging your property rights. I'm telling you that they mortgaged your property rights. And you go, well, how can they do that? Well, because they created something. They created something that didn't exist prior, but they've gotten everybody to believe it did and gotten you to agree to be a part of it. They created this citizenship class that Black's Law, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th edition, at least, all explain was created by the 14th Amendment. Now, we're not going to get into that tonight because that's not what we're talking about. But I'm pointing this out to you because this was done through contract. Everything that they do requires consent. It requires your belief and consent. So every single last thing that you are feeling afflicted by the government or whatever corporation or anything, you agree to all of it. You have to. And that's the way that the ultimate law works. And that's so important because what I explain to people and actually show them, do I show you guys and how to prove without a doubt that you are treated as a corporate franchise, that the United States citizen is a fiction? It doesn't have to exist. I prove it without a doubt, right? You agree to be this. You agree to be this, and you don't have to agree to be it. So I've been trying to figure out, every single episode, I'm like, well, there's only so much to tell people because this is the ultimate problem with the law, is that people allow a foreign bank to control their money, right? And then they allowed a group of greedy cocksuckers in Washington to mortgage them as literal collateral. And it's in congressional record. They admit to, is it in congressional record, guys?
Yep.
They admitted to mortgage you. They admitted to mortgaging you. And it's in congressional record. All you have to do is be like, no, fuck you. So I've been figuring out how to best emotionally represent this kind of approach because there is nothing else. There is no, you want to be a secured party creditor and you want to get your fucking CUSIP number and all this other crazy shit. Listen, you're still playing their system. Their system is their system. They just made up last century in the 1900s. They just made this shit up based loosely on Lex Mercatoria, which is merchant law. They just made this shit up. And then you want to play in it. They continue to make shit up. So somebody figures something out and boom, they shut that loophole down, right? They let a few people do it and then boom, they shut them down. And then who knows what happens to those people. Found somebody who was a registered agent of his own estate on the Securities and Exchange Commission website, because that's the most powerful agency in the country, actually, even more so than the IRS is the SEC. And this dude had it for a couple of years, and then he died mysteriously. Because I went and I was searching up and seeing if he filed anything else, and it said, yeah, they filed that he was discharged or whatever as agent because he was no longer living. So, stuff like that, like this. So you can't win by playing their game, is my point. The only way that you can win is to refuse to participate. And once you learn how to lawfully refuse to participate, like when you learn how to explain articulately and with actual lawful evidence from congressional record or laws or whatever the case may be, why you don't have to participate, there's nothing they can do to you. There's literally, I know it for a fact, there's nothing they can do to you. So my point is, I've been going to try to represent this in a more palatable way. I just haven't really, I've got an idea now, and I like what Brian Young does with the cop videos, and I'm thinking about something like that, but maybe a little bit different.
Sure. Yeah, I was thinking that would be, I would say it's really wild. I was thinking along those lines, maybe cover some shit like that once or twice a week. Because listen, here's what we've done. Like, we had a really interesting stream over on Melodome today where Austin, he's been out with his P900 or P1000. He's got one of those cameras, and he's been out every day photographing the sun, filming the sun, we don't film anymore, recording the sun, and with various filters, and then looking with using different gamma corrections and shit like that on a computer. And we were discussing what the sun could actually be. What are these sunspots? What are the solar flares and things like that? And that's interesting because, listen, there is no contest. The Earth is decidedly a topographical level stationary plane. There is no argument there. Okay. So far, after all this time, there has been absolutely zero credible scientific proof of a globular Earth whirling around in space. So we already know there's no need to even talk to these detractors anymore. If somebody comes in and has questions and wants to learn about it, that's fine. But as far as I'm concerned, and many other creators on the platform right now have come up to the idea, we're not going to entertain them anymore. We're done. Okay.
Exactly.
You know what your purpose is.
100%.
If there is an actual curious person that wants to know something about it, then by all means, we'll be happy to discuss it with you. But don't come in to fight me, because I've already determined I don't need you anymore. Okay. I don't need you anymore. And so what we're doing now, we can take a little bit of time and we can try to discover what it is, these things that are kind of a mystery to us, and these things, and have some more revelations and discoveries. But also on top of it, we can venture out into some other realms as well too. And I think that, like what you were discussing, is another good one, because like I've said several times on here, free your mind and your ass will follow. I think so free your mind and your ass will follow, right? And you kind of go along those lines. Well, you also now, once your ass is following, how do you get your own ass, your physical ass, free? Once you've freed your mind and realized that you are actually not only in a mental prison, but in a physical prison as well. And so we can explore all of that as well. And I think that's part of the unchained mind aspect of this right here,
100%. And
the idea of not engaging the idiots on the other side, because that is a big part of well, at least when it comes to the flat earth things. I wish somebody would engage me on the law, but when it comes to the flat earth thing, is the people who engage only have two things: appeal to consensus and authority. Well, I'm sorry, three things. So appeal to consensus, appeal to authority, and ad hominem. That's all they ever have.
Can I say something about that?
No.
Luca has appeal to retardation now, so that's 4.
No, you can't, Luca. This is exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. So the appeal to authority, appeal to consensus, and ad hominem is all that they have. And why these are so effective is because they're not ever meant to work on you, like the person who knows. Because this is why he's saying don't argue with them. Only a person who knows cannot argue with somebody, because I don't require your belief for something I know. I don't believe it. I know it.
You know what's funny about that?
Hold on a second. No longer on the ball. Are you suggesting that the pressure needs a container? Fuel line spraying all over, that would mean there's a breach in the containment. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right. If I could, does the word argue mean to clarify? Because if that's what argue means, then we should be arguing it. But what these goofballs are doing, like Luca, is they are coming in to detract. So I actually wanted to argue a point tonight with both of you guys here, you and Seth, because I heard something the other day on Flatzoid's channel, but I don't want to get into that now. But I do believe that maybe we should be arguing these, but like in a legit and manly way, not like Luca coming in here and.
Well, no, yeah, that's not arguing though. See, arguing in common usage, regardless of its etymological origin, today, what argue conveys to the average person is a state of strife and a negative low vibration. You see, whereas when you say debate is a respectable gentleman's engagement, essentially, right? So it's a big difference when you say "are you." The whole thing,
No, they're not.
On Black Friday?
is to get people to argue.
Skull candy, I bought them.
Because argue is arguing, like, being in a state of tension and anger and strife.
There we go.
Yeah, the original.
Ryan, your sound cut out. Oh, you're good.
Yeah, the original meaning of argue, but argue in its general, because you think about parents arguing in the common usage, is what I'm trying to say, conveys a different impression, and that's the point of it, is because they want that strife, the argument as people.
Right, they're after definition number 2.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Definition number 1 is what Ethan is talking about. Give reasons or cite evidence in support of an idea, action, or theology, typically with the aim of persuading others to share one's view. This one here, where it says exchange or express diverging or opposite views, typically in a heated or angry way.
Yeah,
that's what they're trying to do. Is with that 2, they can't stay into definition 1.
Right, and that's the issue, and that's why the idea of not engaging with them in such a manner is because every time you're trying to explain a point, or you even try to put something on a post just to kind of pique somebody's interest and get them thinking like, hey, wait, that doesn't make sense, because that's how it all began for us. Every single one of us has followed that same road, so we know what. And when you do that, and then you get the stupid rebuttals, but they're said specifically, these people don't respond to you trying to persuade you. They're responding to you for the people who will see what you said. And then you have to enter into this entire, engagement with them, kind of just for the sake of the people that are going to see what was said. And that's what because when the name calling, more times than not, like people like us who are veterans at engaging people in debating, we don't fall into the trap of being baited into ad hominem and all that bullshit. You know what I mean? But generally the average or new flat earther does. And when they get somebody on that snowball path of just ad hominem and just shit that doesn't matter, the people reading it are like, oh, well, both these people are retarded, and I'm not even going to pay attention to this.
What's like these guys, I've had this happen a few times on Facebook. You've probably seen it too. I'll say, well, can you demonstrate a volume of gas without containment? A static volume of gas without containment. And they'll come back with, you're just uneducated and don't understand science, blah, 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 bunch of shit, right? And I'll just answer with, that was not a demonstration of a volume of gas without containment.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I don't fall into it. From time to time after a long exchange, I will throw in there, like here, I've said this like 6 times that you can't refute a retard, but by that point,
you've got
to know they're retarded.
They get so insufferable sometimes you have to, but at least it's followed up by like a solid statement. You know what I mean? A fact, like, hey, That's what you said does not answer my question in any way. And you've demonstrated yourself to be afraid of what I have to say by insulting me. It's fucking annoying.
Well, that's their only recourse on all levels, is to shut people up. Don't let them talk. And I ran across this today. I posted something in not more than 2 minutes after I posted it. Boom, I got this notification. You posted the same false info, blah, blah, blah. So here's what it was. Okay, we're going to see the post. And it says the patent for the COVID test kits is held by Richard A. Rothschild, is dated in 2020, but was filed in October of 2015. And it's called, and it gives the patent number, right? It's got a little funny picture of Mark Zuckerberg in his cop uniform chasing after the dude, right? So they, true to form and true to the fucking meme, they put a fact check sticker on it. But it was great because I put in there, I said, thank you for putting this cover on this post, Facebook. It will ensure that people will look at it. You guys are really self-defeating. And then my wife put one on there and says, are you sure about that at Facebook? And here's the fucking information right there. Blah. Fact checker, little blue-haired lesbian in the basement.
Here, you want me to show you something? I was going to save this for my show, but I might as well do it tonight.
Yeah, go for it.
Why not? Hold on.
We're getting a sneak peek, sneak preview.
Okay,
The fact checker stamp might as well be a signed, certified steel gold stamp from a bank and the freaking state. I mean, the fact checker logo, that's how you know you're on it.
Yeah.
This
all right,
is
wait,
actually,
hold on. Luch is about to fucking shit himself trying to say something here. What did you have?
Why are we going to let him say
So, I assume I lost the poll. Is that correct?
What's the matter? We're looking. Are you asking about the poll?
Yeah, I assume.
Can you look at the poll? Can you not see the poll? Why did you have to stop everybody to ask about the poll?
No,
you
I'm
can
like,
see it.
before I go on, I just want to make sure that I'm accurate in what I say.
Okay, so you're able to see the poll, right?
No.
You're not? Why?
I'm not on YouTube. I'm on
Where are you?
StreamYard.
You're on StreamYard.
I can't do both at the same time.
Okay, well,
Then that's why you can't see the poll, Luca. Gee, bro.
Okay, so right now it's 67% want you to go, and that's 93 votes.
So
Oh,
I'm going to present. I'm going to present something. Okay.
I'm gonna assume.
All right, we're not talking about it anymore, Luca. We're going back to
wait.
what we were talking
So-
about before you rudely interrupted us.
No.
No.
So-
Shut up now. Go ahead, Ryan.
I'm gonna
All right.
leave.
No. Shut up, Luca.
Okay, I'm gonna leave. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to present this. So right here.
Whoa, we're in a Tesseract.
All right. So CARES Act. When the CARES Act came out, everything's in legislation. This is what I mean by they need your consent. They have to also tell you everything that they're doing. And by not protesting against it, you consent to it. Silence is consent. You're working by this set of satanic rules where it's all about sterile scientific burden of guilt. Okay, burden of guilt. Did you know what was happening to you? Did you have the availability to understand or learn what was happening to you? All these things. And if the answer is yes, then they're absolved of guilt because they told you. So you guys can see this, right?
Yeah.
This is what the CARES Act was. Now, the CARES Act was where they paid hospitals and doctors X amount of dollars, and I'm going to try to figure out how to say this in a way.
No, listen, X amount, that's some serious money right there, too.
Right. X amount of dollars, right? And I'm trying to figure out how to say this for the sake of the because of where we're broadcasting. But for reporting positive instances of a certain, coincidental illness or whatever, right? So this is what was going on, and they were paying them for that, and for deaths related to that, they were paying them X amount of dollars, right? And this led to people being declared that type of situation for things that had nothing to do with it. Now I'm going to show you guys something, and they have to tell you everything they do. This is the actual bill, the original. It stands for this right here: Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act. Now guess when this was introduced to the bill, to the House of Representatives as a bill.
Oh, isn't that handy?
I
124,
can't.
2019. That was even before. That was before Event 201.
One.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bread and butter. Two of us said wow at the same time. It's in stereo.
That is-
You don't. You only get that kind of quality on Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind.
They have to tell you. They have to tell you what they're doing. So they came. How did they come up with this? A year. This is a whole year before the situation was actually needed for.
A coincidence, and it was a good thing that they put that in place, because it wasn't long after that we did indeed need it. I mean, wow, what are you, some kind of conspiracy theorist or something?
There's probably a burger element to this.
There is. There probably is.
You guys get that?
Motherfucker went out there and became a lab rat for a goddamn cheeseburger. Wow. Dude.
Ryan, I think a good topic for your show should be how you do research. Just show everyone what your process is. How you even came up with that right there. I mean, dude, we can't find that. We don't.
He did one on that. Oh, he don't have that up on his show no more. You'll have to do it again now, right?
Yeah, I'll do a different one. I got a specific way. One of the very basic things, and maybe I will do a show on that. One of the very basic things is searching for everything in quotation marks, because that is like the code, the hack for getting the browser, whatever browser you're using, to only find things that have exactly what you placed in quotation marks in the result. So if you know a famous quote, but they're trying to hide it from somebody, you put that quote, or at least one snippet you can remember exactly of that quote, in quotation marks, and it'll come up. Now, if it doesn't come up on a Google-based search browser, which is the case for the really serious stuff, especially when you get in and stuff like that, or the Jesuits, or people like that, Google will not bring it up. They just won't. But if you go to like Yandex or Ecosia, these are a couple alternative search engines that are not. Maybe they're Google based, but they're not well known enough to be as censored. So they'll pull up these results. Well, Yandex is Russian, so they'll give you whatever generally, but they won't give you some domestic stuff that you can actually find on a Google.
Biggs says, have I reached out to Sam Tripoli? No, I'm not interested in talking to Sam Tripoli for any reason whatsoever. Again, another gatekeeper guy that's out there. He has a hat, I guess, similar to this too, but he probably wears the same brand shirts or jeans I do too. I don't know. It doesn't make a compatriot of the man.
What is that about?
I am very, very, very wary of shit that comes out of that guy, for real.
So why would that guy be brought up? What I miss about that?
Because he has a hat that says tinfoil on it, and
why is that a thing?
I don't know.
Hey, would you guys mind if we switch gears for a quick sec?
Well, actually, I'm gonna get off here because I do have to work in the morning. I just wanted to pop up and get Luca off here, which I'm glad worked out.
Go hug my granddaughter for me.
Oh, she's sleeping. She's been in bed for a long time now.
So me and Grandma was talking earlier about coming up there sometime here real soon to visit. So,
as she mentioned something, I was hoping that would happen.
Start cleaning up.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool, man. Let me know more about it. That would be awesome. All right. Later.
All right, hang on. I'm going to hit the clutch here. We shifted gears. What is it?
All right. So the other day, you guys were on. You were on Flatoid's show, and he was breaking down Dell's push and pull situation.
Yeah.
So here's my devil's advocate position. Dell was right, and then here's my question: Can you have a pull without a push? And here is the reason why I'm bringing it up is because when I was a kid, they did teach us that the only force in the world is a push force. There is no pull force. If I'm not mistaken, gravity is the only pulling force in the universe. Even magnetism is all pushing because the toroidal field actually goes around the object and pushes it inwards towards the object. And then the whole concept of like, oh, if I'm pulling it towards me, it's all relative. So basically, with that in mind,
that would mean that expansion and contraction are both the same thing.
Okay, I don't know if I fully have wrapped my head around that before, but real quick, just so you have everything I'm thinking of.
On, the tendency is to expand. When something is pushed on, the tendency is to contract. So we don't see it with static materials as much as we do flimsier materials, like for instance, a blanket. Okay, if you push the blanket, there's relatively no force or anything going on. The material just bunches together. Whereas if you pull it apart taut, it reaches a point where as you're pulling it, you're actually causing it to try to expand beyond its capacity. So we've got two different things happening to the object in question, depending on a pushing or a pulling. So there's contraction and there's expansion. When it breaks right down to it, in order to extend your arm or to throw something, you have to cause an expansion of your muscles. When you grab something and try to pick it up, it requires a contraction of your muscles. Right. So it's I don't agree that pushing and pulling is the same thing at all. And I certainly do not subscribe to an ever uprising earth. That is the most ridiculous thing in the world. I don't know. People, I guess it's kind of hard until it was like that for me with descriptive geometry. Okay. And it might be like that with people with relative density disequilibrium with RDD. Descriptive geometry, I had to take that in engineering, and I was like, what in the fuck? I don't understand this at all, man. I do not. I'm tapping my head. I just can't get it. I don't know what's going on. And then one day at work, I was doing something, and all of a sudden it just went click, and it made sense to me. And after that, I was just like, okay, wow, no problem. I understand this completely. I understand exactly what we're doing. And I don't really understand. I don't know what the stumbling block was, but eventually it came to a point where I just went click. Oh shit. I know why. Oh, okay. I understand the function now. Great.
Sav, your whole sitch paused.
Yeah, I see that. Am I back yet?
Okay. You're back.
One of the biggest things that people have to keep in mind is the fact that there is never a condition in which anything is not within a medium. Always something is within a medium. Here's room 237. I thought that was Brenda for a minute because it almost looked like that pi sign, man. And I was like, no, that's not happening.
Have you ever noticed that Luca's logo for when he jumps on here is him with like devil horns and like demon wings?
Yeah, we pointed that out before.
He's so gay.
Luca won't be back. I banned him from this place.
Good.
For his own good. I mean, and for our own good too. He's not benefiting anyone here. He's certainly not benefiting himself, and he's not benefiting anyone that is watching the program. So there's that.
100%.
Well,
okay, so if I could,
hang on a second. What did you say? Room 237?
No, he couldn't isolate an IV and a DV in an experiment. Yeah. He didn't
yeah.
understand that part. He didn't.
No.
No.
Yeah, he was having a rough time.
I have one more thing I wanted to. Yeah.
But was
there
he
was
really?
contraction and
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
You're kind of breaking up. You're kind of breaking up there, man.
sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
Is that better?
I'm going to turn you up just a little bit.
Okay. When you're talking about push and pull, couldn't you look at gases? Like when you heat a gas, it expands, and when you cool a gas, it contracts. It's the same transfer of energy you would have in a push and pull kind of situation. So they're two different things. It's two different transfers of energy.
Right.
And on all levels. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And try that without.
I mean, if there's anybody that's not really understanding what like RDD, feel free to ask a question, because I think that once people really understand what that's all about, it's so profoundly simple, complex but simple in its principles.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
So I actually have another question. So here, well, maybe it's more of a concern. So here's my thing. Forces that pull allow the glober's gravity. This is what they say is allowed to happen. So in my opinion, everything's electric, everything's electromagnetic. I'm not a rising earther person. I'm thinking more along the lines of, what maybe Wizard prescribes to, which is there's an ether pushing down on us, causing the vector, which allows for equilibrium.
I don't think that it's actually pushing down on us. I think it just merely sets the vector. I think that it sets the vector, and the relative density is what sorts everything out.
Right. So there's like a gradient, and due to that, that's kind of
you're going to have a gradient. What other kind of a gradient do we have in the sky as we go up in elevation?
Exactly.
Temperature.
Pressure,
temperature. Forget about the pressure right now. The pressure is a result of the temperature and a few other gas laws as well. We have to also notice that we have lost some elements in the higher regions of our atmos, haven't we? Most importantly, and first one that we lose is water. And that's going to make a big change. Okay. Because once the water or the water vapor has gotten to a certain altitude, it will condense back into liquid water and fall back to earth. So there's only a certain level that moisture can actually rise to. And the same is to be said for some of the other elements that make up the sum pressure that we experience. Now you have to also understand that there's only pressure on whatever's displacing the gas. You see, there's Brenda was having a rough time with that one night, that like with a gas cylinder. She said, is there pressure in the middle of that gas cylinder? I said, no, not unless something's in there to displace the gas. Okay, so the only place that there's actually any pressure is against the containment of the gas. Other than that, I mean, you could see that if you had a glass. If you had a glass cylinder and you compress a gas into it, and say you had a little pendulum in there, right? It'll still swing at the same fucking rate that it will in any other pressure, right? It's not going. There's no. The only pressure on it, even if you increase or decrease it, is its displacement of the medium. It's in there, and because it's a gas, it's literally, of course you're going to get more pounds per square inch, but it's still gonna. Why do you think you can take? What's that thing when you shake a spray paint can? A little ball in there. It's not inhibited at all, and that shit's under huge pressure. You take it.
That's wild.
It goes
That's actually really wild,
right?
So objects in a vacuum versus objects in a pressurized container still continue to move at the same rate as here in
like you're not going to. It's what I'm getting at is you're not it doesn't experience a change in viscosity. Okay, there's no real frictional change. Now in a vacuum, when they do their drop test, what's different in the vacuum than outside dropping something?
That's a great point too. And the question,
medium, right?
What they do though, what's the difference in the vacuum chamber as opposed to outside?
The viscosity and the friction of the objects.
It's a lower pressure. It's just a lower pressure. So what did we manipulate that actually affected the acceleration of the object?
The medium.
The medium. The medium. And so consequently, if we make the medium more dense, right, then we make the object lighter. To a point where it's you can think about it like this: either the medium is going to spit the object out, or the medium's going to swallow the object, and it'll swallow the object if it's heavier than the medium that it's in, and it'll spit it out if it's lighter. This is why
I think it might be
or down, right?
I think it might be interesting also to if there's an experiment of someone using magnets or watching the effects that magnets have on each other in these different mediums, like in water, in high pressure, in no pressure, low pressure situations.
Yeah, let me tell you something I did. I did do something with magnets one time that I thought was really interesting. So I was drinking water from a copper mug. And I was like, I wonder what this would be, what the effects of water in a copper mug has on these magnets. So I had one little square one. It's actually hematite. It was a little square of hematite. And I had another square of hematite. And I was sitting there working with the resistance, putting it pole to pole so that it would flip the little cube inside the water. And I was moving it around in the water and shit. And I was just seeing if there was anything different that would happen. And I kept fucking with it, and I drank the water. And about 15 minutes later, I'm sitting there and I put my hands together like this. And I literally felt like the magnetic resistance of my fingers pushing back against each other. That's no shit. I was sitting here like that, and I could feel there was a resistance when I got close. And I was like, whoa, did I transfer that? Did it carry that in the water? Now, I know that water is diamagnetic. You can take a little saucer of water and fill it up, and then take a stack of neodymium magnets and stick them in it, and that water will push away from the magnets. Not all the way down to the bottom of the dish, but you'll definitely see a little divot around it where it's trying to push the water away. So some interesting shit when it comes to that, especially with water. We so don't understand water. They just tell you, oh, it's 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, and it's like, no, it's more than that. There's more to it than that.
Yeah.
You can't just take some hydrogen and some oxygen and let them loose and go, here, it's going to make water. It doesn't happen. There's some kind of a process that has to take place. And I believe there is much, much more to water. Water's been shown to hold memory, carry vibration, emotional vibration as well.
And water, I heard one time that there are different species of water, which I can't even remember. Obviously this stuff comes up on our feeds so often. And
like primary, you mean like primary water and shit like that?
I don't know. Someone said something about like 22 or 23 different species of water. Not really about the primary water either. I mean, maybe it is, but shit, I don't know. I'll look into it. But I guess I do want to circle back one more time just to the push and pull thing. And here's my pitch to you. If you have a string in your hand, let's say you have a piece of string and you grab it with your index finger and thumb of your right hand, and then your index finger and thumb of your left hand, you squeeze both ends, so you're pushing on both ends. And then you push your hands away from each other. Like, are your fingers and thumbs pushing the string away from each other because it's friction based? It's like, are you pulling the string at that point? Or you're pushing it? Does it matter the direction? Like, is push and pull relative? Because I kind of don't think Dell was wrong. I kind of really think that actually Flatzord was wrong, because even when he read his definition, he said the definition of pull was to pull. Like, he used the word pull in his definition. And I just don't want us to get into the circular reasoning and the illogical, because I actually like Flatzord. I like his show. I literally watch all of his shows too. I pretty much probably watch his shows because you're on there, probably, really, is the reality of it. But I do like his show. I like him. I think he's right. I don't think Dell is right, but I think Dell might be right about push and pull, because you technically are. I don't think you can have pull without push, because even if you're pulling on a rope, like tug of war, you're pushing on the ground.
Well, definition of pull. Okay, it's a verb. Exert force on someone or something so as to cause movement toward oneself. One's a direction toward, one's a direction away. Toward and away cannot be the same. A vehicle or person, to pull, move steadily in a specified direction or to reach a specific point. It's not in this context. The third definition is not. As a noun, an act of taking hold of something and exerting a force to draw it toward one. A force drawing someone or something in a particular direction or course of action. So let's see, what are there's let's see, for pull, we've got tug, haul, drag, draw, trail, tow, heave, lug, attract. We said draw, pull in, bring in, lure, charm. So now we're going to do push. Let me see. I heard somebody pop up down here. It's probably my good friend Flatzoid.
I just kind of think that those are relative terms, almost like east and west. Is that Keith?
Yeah. Hey, Roger.
Yeah.
Sorry, I only have 5 minutes. I only came in quickly because I heard you guys talk about push and pull.
You're good. You're good.
I just want to say, yes, there's definitely pressure involved when you have to hold something, but that's your hand or mechanism holding pressure. That's, you need the friction, but the action is away from you or towards you.
Right.
I agree completely, which is why I think it's relative terms, which I kind of think that's why Dell was saying it's colloquial.
No, that's the issue. It's not. It's actually physics. You learn this in university. You have actual equations for this. The issue is the problem I have with Dell pushing this is because he needs this for the upward rising earth. He needs it to only be a push motion. He can't have a pull, because as soon as he has to admit, okay, there's a push and a pull difference, then he can't claim uprising earth can show a force attributed. But the thing is, we have actual measurements for pull.
Okay, but let's do two things. Number one, let me get both out and then you can chime in, because I got to go grab my charger. Number one is, just like we tell the Globers, equations aren't reality. And number two is, Dell could have proofs for his model or evidence for his model. And just because he's right about certain things doesn't necessarily make his model right. So even though Dell might be right about this, he might be still wrong about his ideas, theories. So I think it's okay if we give Dell push-pull, even though his model's still wrong. Okay, you go.
Well, I think that kind of begs the question of the equivalency principle, which I think is bullshit. So with equivalency principles, let's put it toward 9/11. Equivalency principle says that the effects of an airplane flying at 500 miles an hour into a stationary World Trade Center would be the same as a World Trade Center traveling at 500 miles an hour into an airplane. No, it would not. There is no equivalency principle. That's bullshit.
Yeah, the thing is, he wants to change what physics is. There's a difference to say, okay, this physics is wrong. Here's the mechanism on why this physics is wrong, than to try and change what it is. He's literally trying to take known physics and say, hang on, I believe this because I need it to fit my model. And then he wants to have the audacity to say we pushing flat earth society, when flat earth society is exactly pushing what he pushes. You understand? So that's the reason I have this whole pushback, is because he's being dishonest, making up his own physics and saying everybody else is wrong because of his own physics.
Everyone else is wrong because of his own physics. I think we might be speaking past each other, you guys, honestly. I love you both, honestly. I do think I think the equivalency principle could potentially be viable here, because let's say you're doing tug of war. Let's say two people playing tug of war. They're both pulling on the rope. What if one person turns around and decides to push on it? The direction that the force is being exerted is the same direction.
They're still pulling regardless of the direction they're facing.
Yeah, but let's
the
say
rope
one
that's left in his
person-
hand. The rope that's left in his hand in the direction of the pushing is slack and hanging to the ground. It's not. See what I'm saying?
Misspoke.
He's still pulling.
Yeah,
whether
but I
he's doing
misspoke.
this or whether he's doing this, he's still pulling.
But okay, let's flip around. Let's say that we got tug of war, and on the end of each rope is a bar. So one person's pulling the bar, but on the other end, the person flipped around, faced away from the other guy, and is now bench pressing the bar.
So now
the direction.
what you're doing is you're transferring the push. You're transferring the push of the bar to the pull of the rope. That's all you've done is transfer the energy from a push to a pull. You're still pulling the rope. You're not pushing. You're pushing the bar. The bar is connected to the rope and gives resistance, and therefore gives a pulling effect on the bar or on the rope. The bar is not what we're pulling or pushing.
I think I figured out what's going on then. So I think Dell is maybe them capitalizing on us speaking past each other, and maybe using there is a gray area in here. I don't know if I can fully explain it, but
equivalency principle. It's that simple. He's pushing flat Earth society nonsense and equivalency principle.
But also,
come on, man.
I don't think he's wrong. I just think he's wrong for using the language in a deceptive way to try to, or maybe he's just misunderstood and thinking that it equates. Because it equates, that makes the Earth then rising. Because our minds are always looking for biases to prove what we're trying to explain, I guess.
See ya, Flatsoid. Thanks for showing up, brother. He says he'll explain this on a later stage. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm getting ready to shut it down here myself. It's coming up on 2.5 hours. But here we can see the definition of push. Exert a force on someone or something, typically with one's hand, in order to move them away from oneself. So you can see that they are antonyms of one another. Push and pull, Zien and Drucken are the opposite of one another. Here we've got shove, thrust, propel, impel, send, press, drive. Yeah, you got to be careful that the equivalency principle is mind candy. It has no place in reality. It sounds good on paper, it sounds good in theory, but when it's tested in actual practicality, it doesn't hold any water. And I'll refer back to my 9/11 example. I think who is it? Kyle Adams. Are you familiar with Kyle Adams's channel? Kyle Adams, about a month or so ago, he did a really good video. Look for him on here, Kyle Adams. He did a really good video on debunking the equivalency principle. It's really good. Let me see if I can find it. And then I'm going to play this real quick thing from Robot Polish here. Let me see. Kyle Adams. All right. Jesus.
Dog's gone wild.
Let's see. All right, so let's see on his videos. Well, you'd be able to find it on here. I'm not gonna. He's got a really big catalog. I'm gonna put the link to his channel in the chat, and y'all can check it out. Check out Kyle Adams's page. Subscribe to his channel. He puts out some pretty good stuff. Let me stick this over in here. And he did a really good one on that. He's did a couple here recently, and the way he works it is finding common ground with the Globers and then going from there, which I think is a pretty smart approach. Pretty good.
Well, that could potentially be logically fallacious too, because common ground doesn't mean.
Well, you take the things that you can agree on. That we agree this, that, and the other, right? Okay, now where does the differences lie? You go from that. Who let the dogs out? Don't say that. They'll start barking again, man. That's exactly what they're probably after. My Pitty and my youngest German Shepherd, that's how they coerce my wife into letting them go out. They start wrestling and fighting and playing in the front room, and they won't stop. And then when you holler at them and say, "Hey, stop that," they'll look at you like, "Oh, does that mean we're going out?" And we'll get up and let them damn go outside. And now they figure, okay, we want to go out. All we have to do is start fighting, and that'll do it. And so show Ethan the static and magnetic effect. I also talk about Hooke's law. Yeah, we're going to get into that one on another show, Flatzoid. I'm getting ready to sign off here. I'm going to play this last little video clip from Robot Polisher. He said, "Lie to me harder, Daddy." And I think this is a good way to end it tonight.
Lie to me. What the fuck you doing? Call Steven Spielberg. Get some special effects on this shit. Get George Lucas on the case. CGI, motherfucker. CGI. What the fuck? Lie to me.
No one has ever done that in a controlled laboratory.
Okay.
So if they can do it, there's some magic that they do. And okay, it's just not useful if I can't reproduce it in the lab under controlled conditions with cameras and everything. It's just not useful.
On fire.
I was just about to ask, what was the point of that? Yeah, but this doesn't debunk that theory, because this isn't moving at 17,000
you cannot recreate the speed that we're going to on the ground. We're much faster than the speed of a bullet.
Bullets move so fast that they can't be seen with the naked eye.
No aerodynamic or aerothermal test facility can be that we will see.
Something that could never be accomplished in a laboratory here on Earth.
17,500 miles per hour.
17,000. Now, keep in mind what Neil said. It has to be something I can do in a laboratory, blah, 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 right?
500 feet a second. 5 miles a second.
Much faster than the speed of a bullet.
Hey, stop, pause this real quick. Okay, so then let me ask you this. If the equivalency principle is false, then when we see the sun traverse across the sky, is the sun traveling at 1,000 miles an hour?
That's what you're talking about. Is that that's not even the same thing as the equivalency principle. Okay, when the equivalency principle dictates. Okay, what I'm talking about when I use the airplane in the building, that they would get the same reaction either way, and that is not the case. That is not the case. What they're not taking into account in that is that there's a hell of a lot more inertia behind a huge skyscraper than there is in a jet. Okay. And there's several other examples of that as well. What you're describing is a kinematic equivalent. Okay. And what that means is a movement that could be interpreted either of two ways. Right. And I don't know if you've ever, like, you pull into a parking spot and hit the brake at the same time as the car next to you starts backing out, and you mash down harder on your brake because you're temporarily under the illusion that you're still moving forward, but you're not. That's a good example of a kinematic equivalent.
Okay.
But no,
the illusion.
Right. It's like there was still movement and it was seamless, you know, but it still gave you the impression that you were still moving forward, even though you were not. It just happened to work out. I've had that happen to me a couple of times and it freaked me out.
and so, but does that apply to what we're talking about with the push and pull? Because that's a visual thing, whereas what we're talking about
the push and the pull, those are obvious
physical things.
Those are absolutely two different physical things, the same type of force, but in opposite directions. The push and pull all has to do with direction. You're either going to go away or toward.
I guess then to kind of close it out,
moving toward while you're going away at the same time. It just doesn't work.
So then,
I'm thinking,
does this question matter? Or does this statement matter? You can't have pull without a push. And if what I just said is true,
that's not true. That is not true.
Break that down for us then.
Okay, well, if I push something, everything involved there was a pushing force, including the expansion of my muscles. Whereas if I pull something, it's going completely in a different direction toward me, and it's requiring of a contraction. Okay, so a contraction and an expansion are not the same thing. They are opposites of one another.
So in order to create a vacuum, you have to vacate the space and then everything presses into it. So do those objects that create the vacuum, are they pushing their way out or are they pulling their way out? Because in my opinion, they're pushing their way out and then other objects push their way out.
No, they're not pulling their way out. The atmosphere on the outside is pushing in. Okay. See, with a vacuum, nothing is sucked. Nothing is sucked. The pressure.
So then you're only having pushing forces.
In.
Then according to what you said, there's only pushing forces. Something's pushing out.
Well,
because something else is pushing in.
As far as that is concerned,
I think that's where the conversation gets to ultimately. And all I'm doing is bringing it up because here's what I don't want. I actually really, dude, I want Flat Earth to go mainstream so fucking bad. You guys have no idea. You guys have no idea. So I don't want us, guys like you, guys like Flatzoid, to fall into any traps. I do think we should look at this, and I do think we should look at push and pull. And I don't think you can have a pull without a push. Therefore, there's only such thing as push.
I can't even wrap my mind around that. That's mental gymnastics as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it really is. But anyway, we've gone on a little longer than we had chosen to here tonight, so I have got to get off here. I have things to do. I am the only one here other than Something Wong, and he doesn't do shit. So I have to take care of dogs and other such things, and so I'm going to have to cut it off of here. So I just want to say to everyone, thank you for coming on, Ethan, Room 237, and everyone else who joined us this evening. All the great people in my chat. Like I said, if you haven't hit that thumbs up, please do. It really helps in the algorithm. Share this with your friends. Tell them come on over and have a good time. We have a blast over here on this show. So until next time, folks, Just remember, Lord loves the working man. Don't trust Whitey, and see your doctor and get rid of him because he'll probably fucking kill you. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time on Sovereign Soul Unchained. Good night.